It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David as he talks with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio today. Today we're talking about Ready, Set, Go. It came to light, I guess, this week. We've got two guests here today. YCSO Crime Prevention Specialist Bryan Thomas. Welcome to studio.
Yep.
And Yavapai County G Posse Augie Giliberto from the Yavapai County G Posse. Welcome to studio.
Thank you.
We're going to find out about Ready, Set, Go. We're going to talk about the G Posse and how that works and just how it goes when it comes time to evacuate your home. We haven't really had that happen up north so far this year, but the Woodbury fire down by, I want to say, south of Roosevelt Lake, we did have that kind of come into play late last week where they were given the go and a bunch of residents were asked to leave their homes and get out of the way of that fire. Which, by the way, the Woodbury fire, I was writing this down, 48% contained, over almost 113,000 acres. Since it started a couple weeks ago. That's a huge fire. I think the evacuations are still in place, but the good news is there was very little growth on the fire yesterday, so maybe we're getting the upper hand on that one. Let's jump into it. Ready, set, go. Wildfire season is here. It's been here. We always have one. Weather Service has talked about the fact that we may see monsoon coming in a couple weeks late because of the cold winter we had and the wet spring we had. So it could be late July before we start seeing some monsoon moisture move in. So we still have a wildfire season, and we're still waiting for that 2 weeks of really hot weather. It looks like it might kick in next week to kind of, kick off the monsoon. We all need to be ready and set and ready to go because we could still have a wildfire up here, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And even with dry lightning, when we get the monsoons, you'll have a fire.
That's a good point, because that's always how it starts off, right? You get a couple of days of that going on, the dry lightning. Yeah.
The majority of them, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's talk Ready, Set, Go. What does it mean? And because it kind of came into play last year, and I know as you had northbound on I-17, just before you get to Flagstaff, there's a great big billboard, Ready, Set, Go, it says across it. So what is Ready, Set, Go? Who wants to take it?
I'll go with that.
Okay.
So our responsibility in the sheriff's office, everybody knows kind of what the firefighters do, and they're doing a great job of working with the communities, building fire-wise communities, doing all the mitigation and clearing fuels so that we can prevent fires. And when we do have fires that we know we're going to have, the damage and the loss of buildings, property, and certainly lives is minimized. The sheriff's responsibility in wildfire or other natural disaster scenario is evacuations. So we want to let the firefighters do the firefighting. What we need to do in the sheriff's office, and we do it with the help of a lot of volunteer units like the Jeep Posse, the 4x4 unit, different search and rescue groups that we have. We have more volunteers working for the sheriff's office than we have paid employees. By almost 3 to 1.
That's nice to be able to say that.
It says a lot about,
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about how people feel about the sheriff's office and how they feel about their community, and it says a lot about the people that live here. And it's a big job, but if the sheriff's office job is to evacuate people, our job as citizens is to be ready to evacuate. That means you need to get ready ahead of time, and then when the time comes when we have a fire or something else working, you be set, which means be ready to move, and then of course go. You've already got everything done, and it makes Augie's job a lot easier when we have to start doing the evacuations.
Sure. You got to have this stuff. We talk about it. We've had the Forest Service in here. We've had you guys in here before talk about this too, but that stuff should be, it's not something I'm supposed to put together when I find out there's a wildfire, say a few miles away from my home. It should be together. Summer's here. We know we got a wildfire season. It should be there. Like I've got a firebox at home that has all of our important papers in it. So that firebox, I know it's right by where I need it to be. So when I go out the front door, I can grab it. I've got 2 cats. I've got a cat carrier out by my front door. So I know that if that happens, I can throw them both in and take them out the door as well. So what are some of the other things? What should we be ready to do?
Well, you should be prepared now in case you have to evacuate.
Okay.
And so you should prepare for or have a pre-packed bag, suitcase, backpack, whatever it is that's easy to grab and go. And you want to think of pets, pills, prescriptions, pictures, and people. So you have to plan for at least 3 days. So have some food and water in your vehicle already.
something that won't melt in the trunk. I always recommend Power Bars and Pop-Tarts.
Sure.
They're great. But have some water and prepare to evacuate. Have a pair of tennis shoes, hiking boots for everybody, a change of clothes, and have that set so you can just grab and go. That way you're ready, because when we come and knock on your door, which is one of the functions the Jeep Posse does, is we'll knock on every single door to notify people there's a fire in your area, prepare to evacuate, or you have to evacuate now. And when we do that, you'd be surprised how many people are not even prepared to do that. They have to go, what do I pack? Well, there's a great website from the county that you can go on to, their county website, and it'll give you some ideas what to have pre-packed, so when you go, you're ready and you can leave instead of waiting for the last moment to grab stuff and go.
We don't have last moments. And the website, by the way, is YCSOAZ.gov. So you can get there through Yavapai County's regular website or go to YCSOAZ.gov. So we're talking about the five P's. Pets, prescriptions, pictures, important papers, and of course,
people.
Yeah, you don't want to be leaving your kids behind or anybody left behind in the house and stuff like that. It's also, we were talking about this before the show, it'd be good if you could take your computer with you, your laptop, but you mentioned, Augie, that a thumb drive would be a great thing, just to have a thumb drive and update it every now and again with everything on your computer. That way you could just grab that and take it, and you've got everything for your computer right there.
Right, and if you don't have that opportunity, you can make copies and put it in a folder with document holders. So it's something to grab onto, whether your house, your rent, credit cards, mortgage, DD-214s if you were in the military. You can put extra pictures in there, or the thumb drive. It's easy to grab and go, and everybody knows right where it's at.
Yeah, I guess we got to be ready just in case you come knocking on the door. And if we're paying attention, we should know there's a fire getting close. Usually that's pretty typical. But I know the folks down to Roosevelt, the fire didn't seem very close to them. And then over the weekend, that fire hit an area where it just had the right kind of mixture of wind and terrain, and it just took off and got there really fast. And we've seen that happen before. We saw that over in Prescott Valley, the Viewpoint fire. Was that right? Viewpoint
Yes.
fire? We had the Goodwin fire, which took off really quick, the Yarnell Hill fire. We've seen lots of fires in this area. The Slide fire in Oak Creek Canyon. We've seen these fires happen over and over and over again. So that's always, we may not always get a ready or a set from you guys, right? Sometimes it might be just go.
Yeah, for example, the Viewpoint fire, because of the winds and the conditions, it took off so fast, it was go, get out now. Because the conditions were just right for the fire with the wind and everything, and it just took it right through the north side of 89A through Prescott Valley all the way up to Chino.
I remember when I first got the report of that, by the time I was getting ready to air the first information, it had already reached the first house. And it was about 30 minutes worth of time had gone by, and the fire had already taken off and gotten there already. So, okay, so we've hit ready, set, go. We got the 5 Ps, YCSOAZ.gov. We got to take our first break. YCSO Crime Prevention Specialist Bryan Thomas in studio today. Jeep Posse, Augie Giliberto?
Close enough.
Giliberto. Giliberto. Okay,
Yeah.
from the Yavapai County Jeep Posse in studio as well. Stick around, countywide. Back in just a couple minutes.
Solid Rock Fitness is a one-on-one fitness studio specializing in fitness over 50. I train older adults of all fitness levels, from athletes and avid sports participants to folks with chronic pain to those recovering from surgeries. You and I will focus on strength training to improve overall muscle tone, core conditioning, balance, agility, flexibility, and nutrition. Mastery of these components of fitness will help you live your life to the fullest with confidence and competence.
Paul Stanley here with Stanley Steel Structures. We offer shade structures that provide style, value, and performance. Our Equinox louvered roof opens and closes to give you the ultimate patio experience. We also offer Alumawood shade covers that looks like wood but lasts like steel and never needs painting or maintenance. Visit us at StanleySteelStructures.com. Contact us today and be covered tomorrow. Stanley Steel Structures. Let us add some space to your place.
Fabulous views and unmatched quality with efficiency in mind. Just announced, CMB Construction is the only contractor ever to win the EPA's coveted Indoor Air Plus Leaders Award 4 years in a row. These Energy Star certified homes provide unparalleled energy efficiency, comfort, durability, and indoor air quality. CMB Construction is currently building at Gray Fox Ridge and Crossroads at Mingus. CMB Construction, locally respected and nationally recognized.
Hi, I'm your host, Smokey Bear, filling in for Smokey because after 75 years of...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Turns out there's much more to say. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by us humans being careless, dumping our used barbecue coals willy-nilly. Guess the song was wrong. We did start the fire. That's why I respect Mother Nature and her trees, whether coniferous or new car scented. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to Countywide. We want to hit Code Red. We're talking Ready, Set, Go today with the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office and Yavapai County Jeep Posse. Ready, Set, Go. So basically, we've talked about having the 5 Ps ready and set to go. And so if you get a call, you get buzzed on your Code Red, which we're going to hit on in just a second. Pick up your stuff, get out the door, get in your vehicle, on your way. Last year in California, I don't know how many stories we heard about people actually getting pulled in by the fires. They were running down the street. So sometimes when it's go, it's time to go. So let's talk Code Red. What do we need to do for Code Red? I'm signed up for it, but what does it mean?
Well, and everywhere I go, any community, neighborhood watch, any community meeting, I've always got these flyers, the Ready, Set, Go flyers. And within that, and within our YCSOAZ.gov website, if you click on the tab for emergency notification, you'll see that the emergency notification system we use is Code Red. The way that works is dispatchers can pick an area, a neighborhood or a large area of the community, and send a message out to all the phones in that area. That worked great in the past when everybody had a landline, but a lot of us, myself included, don't have landlines anymore. So how do you get those notifications that there's a fire in your area and you may need to evacuate? Well, you need to click on that tab, go to emergency notifications, put in your information. It takes 3 or 4 minutes, and you can register your cell phones, your family's cell phones, your email, and then when we have a notification for your area that you live in, we'll send text messages and a voice message to you to say that it's time to get ready. You may be needing to evacuate within the next 3 or 4 hours, say, for example. And you'll get that message whether you're at home or not, or wherever you're at with your cell phone. We always have our cell phones with us. And so we really are pushing for people to sign up for Code Red. It's really easy, and it gives us that tool to notify everybody and have some confidence that people have the word before Augie's crew comes rolling down the road to knock on their door. They're going to say, hey, we got the notice and we're already ready. Okay, that's what we want. We want everybody to be ready to go. Now, this brings me to my next point, and that's all at YCSOAZ.gov. That's the website you want to remember today, and I'll say it a few more times in case you haven't written it down just yet. Augie pulls up to my door. Boom, boom, boom. Jeep Posse, the go alert has been issued. You need to evacuate your house. And I look at Augie and say, I'm not going anywhere. Now what happens? Yeah, people have asked us, will you arrest us if we don't leave our house? No, we're not going to drag you out of your house. We're not going to arrest anybody because they decide that they're not going to evacuate. And we've all seen it on TV with people living through hurricanes and stuff, and they're going to stay in their house and weather the storm. You don't weather the storm in a fire. Fire comes through your neighborhood. You're not going to survive that. And so we may not arrest you, but I just don't understand the idea that you wouldn't evacuate when it's time to go. And once we secure an area, people need to understand that they may not be able to, they won't be able to come back to their house. So when they do go, they got to take the stuff with them. You kind of get one shot. And once that area is secured, if you're moving around in that area, you look like somebody that could be stealing your neighbor's property. That area's got to be secure. You patrol it still, right? I mean, if it's closed down and I refuse to go, I have to stay in my house. I can't be wandering around the neighborhood. Right. If you're wandering around, you might look like a looter to us. So, and that's something that might get you arrested. But Brian, I live right here in this house, but it doesn't matter, does it? I came outside. Right. And now you're tying up resources to deal with you when, really we want everybody to cooperate and help us. And that way we can keep moving and we can get everybody evacuated and we're not getting tied down with somebody. You want to get arrested, a good way to get arrested is to try flying a drone when we're actively doing air operations for a fire, because the 737s and the helicopters can't fly if there's a drone in the area.
Sure.
And we've seen that in past fires where people want to take footage of the fire going on, and it might ground the air operations. That puts lives in danger, and it puts people's homes in danger.
Can I ask you something real quick about that with the drones? When maybe you don't know the answer to this one, but when YCSO has the evacuation notice and they send people out, or even when there is a wildfire going on, I know the Forest Service kind of has a perimeter around the fire that they've got people stationed. Does the sheriff's office have that as well, where you're stationed kind of all the way around the perimeter of the fire, or how does that kind of work, or does it happen that way?
Yes, we'll augment that, and like I said, we don't want people coming back into the area, and so we do need to secure it, kind of like you would secure a crime scene, but it could be huge area. So all of those access points, we want to keep traffic moving. We want to make sure we get the fire equipment in, get the people out, and then we want to secure that and make sure people's property is safe, because we're responsible for their property once they've evacuated.
Okay.
So, and we can do that supplementing with volunteers. We have all the different units, the 4x4 unit and South unit and Verde Rescue, and so we will augment the fire forces doing that, securing that area.
Augie, what are some of the things you notice when you go up to a house and you knock on it and ask people to, it's go, you've got to evacuate? Are there any things that come to your mind that says, this is the most common thing that happens every time?
Well, we get a few people that refuse to leave because they're animals. They don't want to leave their animals behind.
Okay.
And we try to tell them the only thing you do is let your animals loose. We're here to get you. As a function for the Jeep Posse, we have just about every community mapped out here we've done past years. We put hundreds of hours in it. So that way we know where to go, who we need to go to and get people out. Places that aren't mapped out, we could do that in our communications vehicle and map it out. So that way we make sure we notify every single person. But you do get those few that lived here all their life, they're not going to leave.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave my animals. During the Mare fire, we had people that would not want to leave because they had horses, but no horse trailers. So we were suggesting spray paint your cell phone number on the horses, release them so we could evacuate you. Because our main focus as volunteers is people. We got to get the people out and keep them safe.
And later on down the road, we kind of all work together to try to go find that livestock. And
right.
We have had a few fires now it's been a little unusual, where all of a sudden we're talking about cattle and horses, and it's just, we've got big animals.
Red Cross is doing a really good job now of setting up large animal shelters and small animal shelters when we have an evacuation. So when we come and knock on your door, we're going to tell you the evacuation route, the best way to get out, so you're not interfering with emergency vehicles, where the evacuation center is, and if you need animals, where to go to store your animals until the emergency is over. All of our people in the Jeep Posse and YCSRT, all volunteers. We don't get paid to do this. We're here to help the community. And Jeep Posse is a nonprofit organization, and we've been doing it since 1952 for Yavapai County.
Oh, really?
Right.
I didn't know that. 1952, huh?
Yep.
You guys have been at it for a while. We got to take our next break, okay? YCSO Crime Prevention Specialist Bryan Thomas in studio today, and Augie Giliberto from the Yavapai County Jeep Posse also in studio. The website is YCSOAZ.gov. Stick around, Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Regrow, repair, replace. Regenerative medicine is the process of creating living, functional tissues to repair or replace tissue or organ function lost due to age, disease, damage, or congenital defects. Dr. Forrest Lanchbury and the team at Sedona Regenerative Medicine specialize in finding relief for patients suffering from chronic pain. Contact Sedona Regenerative Medicine to learn about anti-aging medicines that will help your body heal itself. 928-282-2520 or SedonaRegen.com.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at Gettle'sHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettle's.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late...
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
Welcome back to Countywide. It's great to have you along. We've got just a few minutes left of the program. A couple of things we thought about during the break is one thing is if, let's say, school is in session and your kids are in school and you're at work and your neighborhood, which could have been very easily at the Viewpoint fire because it was like the middle of the afternoon. It was kind of an early fire. If the area is evacuated and you're not there and your kids aren't there, you got to have some place where you can all meet up to make sure you're safe and sound. So get that established ahead of time. Say, okay, the kids, we're going to meet at this parking lot. If the house is evacuated, so you get out of school, you come over here and you meet here. We go here, or maybe they go to a relative's house that's in the area, something like that. But another thing was a Red Cross.
Red Cross.
Registering with Red Cross.
Register at Red Cross. Right. It's really important if you're evacuated out of an area to register at the Red Cross where they're set up at the evacuation center. You don't have to stay there, but that allows relatives, family members to call the Red Cross and find out where you're at. You may have gone to a friend's house and nobody has that phone number, or you may be sitting somewhere in your RV in a parking lot. Nobody knows. That's perfectly fine, but registering with Red Cross, so if your family members call in, they'll know where you're at and they could direct them to where you're at. So you don't have to stay at the shelter. You could choose to stay at a friend's, family, or an RV in a parking lot. But registering at Red Cross allows other people to know where you're at so they don't go back into the evacuated area looking for you and hamper operations or become a statistic themselves because they're trying to get back in to make sure that everybody's out.
Okay, all right. We've got still a couple minutes left. If I'm evacuated from my home, what do I need in order to get back into my house once it's declared safe to get back in?
You're going to need to know where you live, I guess, but that
I got to have proof though that I can go in there, right? Because there's always something that I'm supposed to have like a bill or something with my address or driver's license should have my address on it. I should be able to show.
Right. If you took your papers with you, certainly if you have your driver's license and has your current address on it, if you just moved here, update that, and those kinds of things. One thing we didn't mention is that if all else fails and we don't get you notified and you see fire coming over the ridge wherever you live or smoke and you just don't feel safe, self-evacuate. Don't necessarily wait. We'll get people back in there. We'll get them organized. We'll make sure that nobody's going to get in there and loot property and somebody that doesn't belong there. Those are things that we have a little bit of time to work with. In the end, it's the getting ready ahead of time. And in search and rescue, we always say the time to prepare for the next call out is right after you get home from the last call out. Charge everything up, make sure you resupply, and so you really should practice that communication plan and practice that evacuation with your family. Know how long it takes to load up your animals and how you're going to get them and where you're going to take them. So
take a little bit of time to get ready, so you're ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if you need to get back into the evacuated area, the sheriff makes that determination, and usually you'll get escorted to your house. As part of the service that we provide with the G Posse. We'll take vehicles or family members to their house, get what they need, and escort them back out. So we're making sure they're not staying there. And we've had a few people do that, actually stay when they get there. We can't make you leave. The only thing we could do is notify the sheriff. That's on extreme cases, like you need medication, or you were at work, or you were out shopping, and you didn't have time to grab your stuff. So if it's not the fire's not in that area, we can escort you in and escort you out, depending on the sheriff's situation that they get from the Forest Service where the fire is at.
That's a good point to make. We're out of time. Augie, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
We're going to have Augie come back in and talk more about the G Posse and how you can volunteer and stuff like that. So we'll have you come back in and do that, all right?
Thank you.
That's today's countywide website. Again, is YCSOAZ.gov. Thanks for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.